Good morning. So I shared my vocabulary tracker this morning at the success meeting. I'm not sure what it's called. And I heard that people really liked it and wanted a tutorial of how to do different things. Yeah. So I just wanted to give you a quick tutorial of how to set up your own sort of tracker. So this tracker here is pretty cool because um, basically what happens is I have all these different vocabulary words and I give my kids a vocabulary quiz each week. So up here you can see these are the different dates of the quizzes. So what happens is I put in basically a 1 or a 0 for each word for each quiz to determine like if the kid got it right, they would get a 1. If they got it wrong, they would get a 0. So with this quiz here, she got, a 0, 1, 0, 1, whatever. So then all of these different sheets are for each different kid. And then it all links back to this original sheet, which then gives an average for that quiz. So here it was an 80% because like Kendra got a 0 on it. So that averaged in and made this an 80 because most of the other kids got it right. So the first thing that I want to show you how to do is to link all these different averages so that way it can give you an average on one sheet from another sheet. Okay, so over here I have a new spreadsheet. I just added some words on here so that way I can basically figure out how I want to set it up. I'm going to delete this one for a second. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, if you double click something, it can make it the same width as your widest one. So that could be a helpful hint if you didn't already know that. Next I'm going to add a new sheet. I want to make sure that I name this after my student. I'm just going to name a few random students that I have. This will make it a lot easier for the next step. And okay, so now what you want to do, so let's say, actually first, I want these words over on my other like students trackers. So if I want to do that, hang on. Okay, if I want to do that, instead of copying and pasting it, because like every time I add a new word, I want it to show up on Kendra's sheet. What I do is equal in here, equal sheet 1 exclamation mark, and then I just click on which one I want. Oh, no, that didn't work. Yeah. Sheet 1, I guess I'll just look at the cell, A1. Oops. So now I have my word. Now if I pull this little cross down, I have all of those words. Keep going. There's some blank ones. So the last one was hopeless here. So if I just add another random word like sad, it's going to show up over here on Kendra's. And then I can take this whole column, copy it, paste it there, and paste it there. Okay, so now I have my 3 students kind of marginally set up. So next what I want to do is make it so that this here ends up being an average of whatever the students get for these words. When you're doing this though, I mean, you would probably want to insert some rows up here so you can add like the date of the quiz. I also have another row here for the average that they got. So that way I can actually just put this into the grade book. So you might want to add those before you just start off with whatever data you're tracking. So let's say the date is today, so 11/18, and then I'm going to just put in some random numbers. So 0, 1, 0. Oops. Okay, so I always do 0s and 1s because then you can average it and then times it by 100 and it'll give you a nice average. And it's easy to just put in a 1 or a 0. So I'm going to do this for all of my students. Hang on, let me insert. And I'm going to pause for a second so you don't. Okay, so now I have all of my students have some information in here for this first quiz that I gave. And I want to link it so that I can figure out the average. So first I want to figure out the average of this. So I'm just going to do equals average. Actually, if I look right here, it says, oh, do you want to do that average? Yes, I do. Thank you. Okay, so she got a 62. I don't want this to be like a point, so I'm just going to add tag on here times 100, so that way it's a nice number instead of a decimal. Average times 100 equals average. Okay, and now I know the averages of my 3 students. Next, like I said, I want to link it. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to do equals average. I'm going to type it out this time. And then you can actually just click the next sheet and then click on the cell. Then you have to add a comma and then go to the next one, comma, Omar, click, and then end my parentheses. Press enter. There we go. Now I have my average. Now, if I just pull it down, it's going to give me all the averages. Anytime I have this divide 0 thing, it's because it means that there's no numbers over here, so it just can't figure it out. That's why on my spreadsheet, I usually do like NA or something when I don't have, like I didn't use that word for that week because I don't like the divide 0 thing, it's ugly. So the same over here, I don't want this to be that big ugly number, so I'm going to do times 100. And then there's too many numbers here, so I'm just going to press this button until it's just a number. Yeah. So now if I want, I can do conditional formatting on these. So I'm going to do conditional formatting. Okay, so if the cell is greater than 70, it's going to be green. Add another rule. If it is between 70 and 50, 60, it's going to be yellow. And then if it is less than 60, it's going to be red. So now if I go over here and say, let's say everybody got packed wrong. Now my thing is going to be red, my cell. The last thing that I had was this new thing that I was tracking, which is how many times have I used each word, because basically like next week I would want to use the word packed again because nobody got it right. So let's say that we did packed again. So this is going to end up with a number. I'm just going to pretend that the average was 70. So 1 second. Okay, so this is where it gets really tricky. So if you're like not into sheets, you might want to stop here. If you really like them, then you probably want to pay attention. So you're going to do equals if. So this pulls up a formula where it'll, give you something based on a set of conditions. So is number. So this is 1. Is number. Then I want to put my cell. So I want it to be D1. Hang on, I don't remember. Is number. Okay, so is number D1, then you end the parentheses. So now I'm going to, wait, do I put a comma? Yes. Okay, sorry. Comma 1, comma 0, and then end parentheses there. So it's a 1 because there's a number there. So now, in order to count the numbers, I have to do that again. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to do plus, just kidding, plus, enter that, and then instead of D1, I want it to be E1. How did you work? Where the parser? Oh. Don't copy the equal sign. Okay, there we go. So now that one's a 2. And if I bring this down, it'll change the cells accordingly. So as you can see, it's a 1 here because there's a number. It's a 0 here because there's no number. And then you can do conditional formatting again with this. So I could do like conditional formatting if it's a greater than or equal to 2, it'll be green. If it is equal to 1, the yellow, and if it is, we'll do equal to, if it's equal to 0, then it's red. So now I can just quickly look over here. Oh, I didn't use these words yet, so I might want to do that. Packed I've used twice, but they got a 0, so like, yeah. So that's basically what's going on over here. I also have an average set up. So this is just the average of all of these quizzes. So I can just quickly look down, these first 2 columns and see which words I want to do next. So like, hang on, my kids are too good, so it's hard to show you. So this one's a little bit better because they have a harder time with these words because it's a different class. But as you can see, like colonies is one of the words that I would want to do next because I've done it 3 times and they haven't gotten a high score on it yet. Celebrate and causes, I've done a lot and the kids like just aren't getting that word. So I'm going to have to do it again eventually, but I should probably reteach it before I do it. Any of these double yellows are like something that I want to look out for. Any of these like green and reds mean like the kids get it every time they do it. So I want to throw these in every now and again. So that way they get kind of an easy word. This like red and yellow, definitely want to follow up with that. And then these are all my newer words. So, this is just a quick way to look at your data visually and determine where to go from there.